welcome back to Brisbane Health. So far we've spoken about what you can do to help prevent heart disease, but it's also important to know what to do in an emergency. Our next guest, Ashley Foote, is here to tell us all about his very own heart attack experience. Ashley, can you please tell me what happened when you had your heart attack?
Thanks, Lauren. I was sitting in my study one morning, Friday, about 10 a.m, and I had this tingling down my forearms. I was on the phone, and all of a sudden I dropped the phone, and this tingling paralysed my arms, and I thought, what the heck's going on there? So I thought something wasn't right. So then it stopped, and I went to the front door. I unlocked the front door, then I grabbed the phone and went and laid down on the bed. I was going to ring my doctor. I thought something's going on here. Then next minute, the heart attack hit me. And I had this whole tightening in my chest. I actually wrote a story about it, and I described it like monkeys jumping up and down on my chest, tearing pieces of my heart out, chewing on it with the blood dripping down my forearms. That's very graphic, but that's what it felt like. The tingling down the arms and that pain in my chest, pounding, and monkeys jumping up and down. That's how I described it.
So prior to your heart attack, did you have any warning signs that maybe a heart attack was going to happen at some point?
Well, I've got a very bad family history. I was a little overweight. I was allergic to exercise. And I'd had a spinal fusion a year before, so I was experiencing a fair amount of pain in my upper body. I just put it down to turning 50, which I had done a month previously. I'd also put it down to the spinal fusion I had in my neck, so I was ignoring the pain. And then one day I went and saw my doctor, and I said, look, I'm just too tired. I have a full night's sleep and I'm still yawning all day the next day. Her answer to that was, well, get some exercise, lose a bit of weight, and, get back out there and start taking life a bit seriously. 3 days later, I had my heart attack.
Oh, wow.
I'm not blaming my doctor for that, but I was very unfit, is the short end of the story. I was a heavy smoker for years and struggled to give that up. And I wasn't eating a healthy or living a healthy lifestyle at all.
Did you think about it? When you were just living before the heart attack, were you thinking, oh, this is quite bad for me, I really shouldn't?
Well, as I mentioned, I'd turned 50 a month prior, so I was starting to think, I wonder how much longer I've got to go, because I knew I hadn't lived a healthy life. Very bad family history, very bad cholesterol levels. I knew all of that, and I didn't think there was anything that I could do to not die of a heart attack one day and at an early age. I lost my father when he was 53. He'd had a bypass operation when he was 46. My brother, who's only a year older than me, had had a heart attack a few years previous to myself. My uncle died at 42, my grandfather at 51. All of a heart attack. So, hereditary cholesterol, that sort of family history. I always thought I was going to die of a heart attack at an early age, so I did nothing to prevent it. I didn't think I could. I've since learned through the help of the Heart Foundation that, through education, that there is a lot that I could have done to actually manage my lifestyle and maybe avoid ever having a heart attack that I didn't do. So I was very ignorant and very silly, as hindsight has taught me.
So since your heart attack, what's the rehabilitation process been like? What have you needed to do?
Well, it's been a difficult road. My heart attack was major, so exercise wasn't an easy thing for me to do. I did 40% damage to my heart muscle, a very serious heart attack. I've got 6 stents in one artery, so am I physically fit now? I wouldn't say that. I'm probably still carrying 10 kilos more than I used to. But I've changed my diet a little bit. I eat a lot less than I used to. I certainly don't eat as much rubbish as I used to. I try to exercise, but there's a lot going on in life. Making time to go for a walk, take the dog for a walk, or use your feet instead of the car. So it's about, just changing your attitude to life, not only what you eat and exercise, but being responsible for your health. And I think that's one thing that I've really taken on board, that I'm now a lot more responsible for my health than what I was previously.
And can you tell me, Ashley, I understand a little bit about heart attacks, but what is it exactly that causes the heart to stop?
Well, my heart attack was a build-up of plaque in an artery, and that builds up to a stage where some of it breaks off and then goes forward to a blockage and actually blocks the blood flow. So that's the heart attack. You get pain and suffering with your heart when it lacks oxygen prior to that happening, but that's the actual heart attack, when the artery gets blocked and starves the heart muscle of oxygen. So that's exactly what happened to me. I've got two other arteries that are just over 60% blocked, so I'll have a further work to my heart in the days coming. But heart attack's not a nice thing, and exercise and looking after your health and being responsible about it, and getting your cholesterol checked. I had hereditary high cholesterol, but there was something that I could have done about it that I didn't do, and that's probably one of the greatest impacts it's had on me.
And so you're telling me your arteries are 60% blocked. Is there any way of reversing it, or is it more the prevention coming up to it?
Well, if I am disciplined around what I eat and getting some exercise, then they won't get as worse as fast as they could. And also medication. The medication that I'm on will, hopefully stop them from getting to a point where I need bypass surgery one day. I want to try and avoid that, because that's pretty major. But they may need to get stented one day, but I'm trying to be a lot more responsible in my lifestyle now than what I was previous to heart attack.
I bet it makes you think, or pre-think about what you're doing, what you're eating, how you're getting to places, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we walk now more than we ever did. I never exercised. I always thought I was reasonably fit, and strong, but as one gets older, that stops happening. I chose a beer and the TV before I chose a play with the kids or a walk the dog. So it's just a matter of being responsible about that and managing it and changing your lifestyle accordingly.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for coming in and sharing your story. Now, Ashley contacted the Heart Foundation to share his story and increase awareness. After the break, Bruce Macdonald will talk to us about heart disease research.